So today the topic we are discussing is the switch. Now if we generally understand about the switch, so I am taking one diagram to make you understand first. Let us suppose that this is the switch. Actually in the lab we have seen a device like this. This can be hub or the switch, that depend, but both look like same. So I am assuming that it is a switch. Switch is having more ports than the hub even. So let us suppose I am taking the example 6 ports. But actually these are not the 6 ports, it can be up to 20 ports, 40 ports, many switches are there. So now these ports can be connected with the Ethernet cables. Ethernet cables are further connected to the computers. So these are the computers which are connected to the switch. Now such diagram we have already seen into the hub also. So let us suppose that this is C1, which is computer 1, computer 2, 3, 4, 5 and C6. So these 6 computers are connected with the switch. Now we must know one thing, that there is no physical connection is there into the switches. So if the physical connection is not there, then how they will connect? Let us suppose that C1 want to communicate with C4. So computer want to communicate with computer 4. So it will send the data. Now switch is very much intelligent that it can create the virtual connection. Virtual connection means it is not really there. It is virtually created. Now with the help of that, data is sent to the C4 and nobody else is aware about it. So it can send the data privately. So we can say one good thing about the switch is it is having the virtual connection. So the switch is having the virtual connection. Now let us suppose that there is one more computer C6. Now that also want to communicate with C2 at the same time. But we know that the switches are very much intelligent. So C6 computer will send the data to the switch. Now it will create one more virtual connection and send the data to C2. So this way there is no collision. So these are the very good advantages of the switch over the hub. That's why today we are using the switches, but you know that everything comes with the cost. If you are talking about the schools where there is no requirement of the network, then obviously we will use the hub because there is less requirement of the network. But let us suppose that in some college there is very huge requirement, then for sure we use the switches and we have to pay for that also. Now this switch diagram I have shown to you, that is very standard diagram which is common to all the switches. But yes, switches are of some types. So now we are discussing the types of switches. So the first one switch we are having is the L2 switch. Actually L2 switch is the layer 2 switch, and this L2 is taken from the layers of the OSI model. Till now we have not discussed the OSI model, so we are assuming that there are some kind of layers and on which this device can work. So L2 switch can work on the layer 2. That's why we are saying as the layer 2 switch. And the types further into the layer 2 which are very much important are, first one is the non-manageable. So we can say that the non-manageable switch, and the second one type we are having is the manageable switch. These are the standard types of the switches. If somebody asks you what are the categories of switches, mostly you have to answer non-manageable and the manageable. L2, L3, L4 very less people are aware about. Even over the internet, if you are searching, you will find that non-manageable and the manageable switches. So now we are going to learn what are these non-manageable switches and manageable switches. So first of all, I am taking the non-manageable switch. Okay everyone, so first of all we are learning the non-manageable switch. So let us suppose I am taking one diagram to make you understand. So if I say that there is a switch Inside that, let us suppose that 6 ports are there. This is a switch we are discussing is non-manageable. And then we will discuss about what are the different things about that. So let us suppose that this switch is placed in the server room and we have connected with the 6 computers, and we are giving them the name of this 6 computer as C1, C2, C3, C4, C5 and C6. So first thing about the non-manageable switch, we must know that they are plug and play. Plug and play means anything which you purchase from the market and you install them, just like your Wi-Fi. Your Wi-Fi at your home is plug and play. You just purchase them, put at your home, putting some wires and working with it. Right? The LAN is created. So plug and play means there is nothing you have to do. Now there is one more thing about the non-manageable is that there is no VLAN. Now VLAN means the virtual LAN. No virtual LAN is there. Now to understand this virtual LAN, first of all we must understand what actually the LAN is. Now everyone, you should know that the LAN means the local area network. Whatever we have discussed so far, just like we have discussed the hub, we have discussed the switches, these are the LAN interconnecting devices. Now when we have used the switch, then these all computers can communicate with each other. So now what that mean? If any people can communicate with each other, they are the LAN. LAN means the local area network. Now there are so many definitions into the books also about the LAN, which is the local area network, that LAN belong to the network which is up to 10 kilometer. Means let us suppose that your one building is connected, your one complete college is connected with the computers and multiple network, that is the LAN. Your 2-3 buildings are connected, that is also the LAN. We are taking the range up to the 10 kilometers. Means in 10 kilometers, all the devices which we are using is called the LAN. Even at your home, if your TV, mobile and your other appliances are connected with the Wi-Fi, that is also a LAN. LAN means the people can communicate with each other into the shorter area. Even people also talk about the PAN also. PAN, personal area network, the Bluetooth connectivity, very shortest distance, that is the PAN. So first of all, we are having the PAN. PAN is the personal area network where the Bluetooth is there, and that is less than your LAN. LAN is a local network, and that is less than the MAN, which is the metropolitan network. When we talk about multiple buildings connected, let us suppose that approx half of the city we have connected, or maybe one city we have connected, whole Delhi is connected, that is a MAN. And if we talk about the country to country communication, that is our wide area network. But the devices which we are studying, LAN and the MAN devices, both are the same. Just like if somebody asks you switch hub, these are the LAN as well as the MAN devices. So now we are having some idea about the LAN. So we are pretty much sure that this non-manageable switch also creating a LAN. Now we can say that this switch is also creating one LAN. So that means these 6 computers are communicating with each other. That is called a local area network. Now here we are not justifying, because we know that so these 6 computers are connected into the LAN. LAN means they can communicate with each other. Now let us assume that the switch is placed inside the server room and these 6 computers are separated differently. Let us suppose that first 3 computers, these are placed into the HR department. The wires are going from the server room. Next 3 are placed into the library. Now that is totally possible that 3 computers are placed into one room, 3 into another room, no problem. But if I want that First three computer means these three computer will be provided with certain speed. Let us suppose that I want that first three computers have 10 Mbps of speed and other three computer have 2 Mbps of speed. Means I want to differentiate these computers. Differentiate means I want that first three computer create a virtual LAN and next three computer create a virtual LAN. So that is not possible. I am explaining this with the help of a class. Let us suppose that we are having a class of 60. Let us suppose some section. Now this 60 class is a LAN. So any faculty is teaching in that class, that is a LAN. If I divide them into two labs, lab 1 and lab 2, but still they belong to the same class. Let us suppose that we are assuming a morning section. 60 students are there, assuming that is a LAN. If I say morning students, first 30 go to lab 1 and next 30 go to lab 2. They are actually a part of a LAN, but I am creating the virtual LAN. Virtual LAN means I am virtually creating 30 students. So if I want that three computers should be connected into one network and three into another virtually, that is not possible with the help of the non-manageable switch. That's why we are saying that there is no VLAN. So no VLAN is there into the non-manageable switches. Okay everyone, so now I am explaining the virtual LAN concept with the help of one proper diagram. Let us suppose that you are having a home. In this home, there are three rooms. Let us suppose that these are the three rooms. This is room 1, room 2 and room 3. Now in the room number 1, there is a TV and there is a mobile. Both are Wi-Fi. Another room we are having, let us suppose one more TV and one laptop. In the next room, I am having one more mobile phone and let us suppose one more laptop. Now here, somebody have installed the Wi-Fi. This is the Wi-Fi device and we know that this Wi-Fi device can communicate with all the devices. Let us suppose that there is a Wi-Fi is connected with all these. I am showing the wires, but actually you assume this is the wireless connection. So they are connected. Now we can say that these six are connected to a network. So this is a LAN. This whole is the example of a LAN. But I want that these all work together only. So this is a VLAN, virtual LAN. I want that they only work together. So that is the VLAN 1. They only work together. That is VLAN. VLAN means virtually I am saying. Actually they are the part of one particular home and one network. And this is the VLAN 3. So if I want that they should create separate network, but they are actually the part of one main network. So that is not possible with the help of the non-manageable switches. So we are taking few more things about the switch. The virtual connection is there. The virtual connection is with every switch. So I am just writing here the virtual connection is there. And one more thing which is important, that there is no OS. There is no operating system in the manageable switches because there is no configuration. I cannot do anything. It is plug and play. Purchase from the market, work with it. So that is plug and play. And the VLANs are not possible. So the next type of switches we are working with is the manageable switch. So to understand the manageable switch, I am taking the same diagram which I have discussed earlier. Let us suppose that this is the manageable switch and there are similarly 6 ports available, and similar way these are the 6 Ethernet cables and 6 computers are there which are connected to the Ethernet cables. Let us suppose C1, C2, C3, C4, C5 and C6. Now we know that the switch used to create one LAN. So similarly, the LAN is there. This is the local area network. But now we are using the manageable switch, and the manageable switch feature is that we can create the virtual LANs. So let us suppose that the first three computer I want to create into the HR department, and the next three computer I want to send to the library, and I want that they should communicate in their network. So virtually I have created the network of first three computer, that is called a VLAN 1, and the next three computers I have created one network, that is VLAN 2. So these kind of VLANs we can create. Means if the strength of 60 students are there, I am sending the first 30 to lab 1 and next 30 to lab 2, and first 30 are communicating with each other and next 30 are communicating with each other. So that is the virtual LAN. So if I talk about the manageable switch, now I am writing here that the manageable switch we are having the VLAN. So the very important thing about the manageable switch is the VLANs are there. Although VLAN are there, but there are few problems as well that I will discuss. But the next thing is they are configurable. Configurable because we know that if I have to do the VLAN, that means there is some kind of coding is required, some kind of entries are required. Let us suppose that there is an interface. In that interface we are saying that first three computer we want into HR, next two computers we want to into some other department, admin department. That is possible. Now what is the benefit of this VLAN? If I want that VLAN 1 should be given 10 Mbps of speed and VLAN 2 is given 1 Gbps of the speed, that is perfectly fine, because manageable switches are very much popular and they are very much powerful as well, that they can provide any speed to anyone. Let us suppose that your 6 devices are connected with manageable switch. Now I want that the computer 1 in the room number 1 should be given the whole speed and other people should be having only 10 Mbps of speed. Perfectly fine. That we can do with the help of the manageable switch. But you know that the manageable switch we are doing such configuration, that's why we are saying they are the configurable. And obviously if we are doing some configuration, there should be some kind of operating system. So operating system is also there into the manageable switches. But there is one problem also. There is one major problem with the manageable switch, and that problem is the we have created two virtual LAN, means the 60 students was there. We have divided into 30 30. 30 are talking to each other, another 30 talking to each other, but first 30 VLAN cannot talk to next 30 VLAN because they are into the different labs. So VLAN 1 cannot communicate with the VLAN 2. That is the problem. And what we say, VLAN 1 is not talking to VLAN 2. The meaning is that inter VLAN routing is not possible. So we say that inter VLAN means in between the VLAN, routing means data sending, and that is not possible. So that is not possible. So this is the disadvantage of the manageable switches. So now we are discussing the next type of switch, and that one is the L3 switch. So the next type of switch we are having is the L3, and we know that the L2 we have taken from the layer 2. Similarly, the layer 3, L3 means the layer 3 switch. Now what is the main advantage of the L3 switch over the manageable? There is only one main advantage of the L3 switch, and that is inter VLAN routing is possible. So now in the L3 switch, we have learned that there is an advantage. Advantage is that inter VLAN routing is possible. So in the L3 switch, we can do the inter-VLAN routing. Inter-VLAN routing means if we have created the two VLANs, they can communicate with each other. So let us suppose I am taking the same diagram. So there was the 6 computers which was connected into the LAN. Now in that LAN we have created two virtual LANs, VLAN 1 and VLAN 2. And there in manageable switch they was not communicating, but now they can communicate. They can send the data to each other. So if they can send the data from VLAN 1 to VLAN 2, that is called the inter-VLAN routing. So there it is perfectly fine. Now what that mean? If I take the example of real life, now the class of 60 students, which is a LAN, is divided into two groups. First 30 VLAN 1, next 30 VLAN 2. They are at separate places, but they are still talking. Means VLAN 1 can send the data to VLAN 2. So that is the inter-VLAN routing. It is possible. Now there is one disadvantage of L3 switch as well. The disadvantage is that it do not support the multiple layer. Do not support multiple layer means it cannot work on all the layers. What is the meaning of multiple layer? Do not support the multiple layer. Now we know that from very first switch type we are discussing L2, L3. What are these? These are the layers. So layer 3 switch is not working with all the layers of the model. So that's why to overcome that disadvantage, we are having the next type of switch, that is the L4 switch. So we are writing here, that is the L4 switch. Actually, if somebody asks you in the examination, what are the types of switches? If you are explaining non-manageable and manageable, that is perfectly fine. But if you want to go into the deeper, then L2, L3, L4 you must know. Otherwise, manageable and non-manageable are perfectly fine. So now there is a advantage of L4 switches that it support all layer. Support all layer or the support multiple layer, that means anywhere you place it, it can work. So it work on all the layers. So there we have discussed about all the switches. First of all, we have discussed about the non-manageable switch. Non-manageable switch is that where we are having plug and play. You just purchase from the market, then you can work with it. So that is the non-manageable switch. And there was no VLAN, no operating system. Then further we have discussed the manageable switch, in which we are having the VLAN, means we can create the virtual LANs. We can give the speed, specific speed to any particular device also. Then the problem in the manageable switch was inter-VLAN routing is not possible. So then we are having next type of switch, that is L3. Now the layer 3 switch inter-VLAN routing is possible, but they do not work on the multiple layer. So to overcome that, we are having is the L4 switch, which can work on the multiple layer. But let me tell you, if you are going into the big industry even, you will find maximum the manageable switches. So the switches which are placed in your labs are the non-manageable, and places into the server room, that is the manageable. I will tell you one diagram with the help of you can understand the manageable and the non-manageable, how they are working. Okay everyone, so we are now taking one diagram. With the help of that, you can see that how we can save the cost with the help of a network and how we can take the benefit of manageable switch. Let us suppose that I am taking one switch. That switch I am saying is the non-manageable. Let us suppose three computers are there. Now these three computers, I am assuming that this is the lab computer. I am taking one more non-manageable. Let us suppose again containing the three ports. I am giving a separate number C4, C5 and C6. It is also non-manageable. So we are giving you the layered hierarchy. Now one more example. Three computers are there. C7, C8 and C9. One more non-manageable switch we are taking. Non-manageable switch means the lesser cost. Manageable switch means more cost. We cannot apply manageable switch everywhere, but we want that we should create such type of network so that their speed can be maintained. So these are all non-manageable switches. And we know that non-manageable switch combination is there in this diagram. So every non-manageable switch is creating a LAN. Now this one we are assuming is a LAN. So we can say that it is the LAN 1. This is LAN 2. Next three computers we are saying is the LAN 3. And this one is the LAN 4. So these are the four LANs available now with the non-manageable switch. Let us suppose that we are saying this is the lab 1 of your college. This is the lab 2 of your college. This is the library, and this one is the faculty room. Let us suppose we are assuming that there is one faculty room. We can take multiple non-manageable switches and take the multiple faculty room. Even we can also add on the chairman room. We can also even add your admin room, accounts office. So multiple non-manageable switches are applied, multiple LANs are there now. Now let us suppose that I am applying a one manageable switch. This is the manageable switch into your server room. So in the server room I have applied manageable switch where multiple ports are there. Now there is one more good thing about the manageable switch. Manageable switch can connect the computer as well as the further switches. So first of all, I am connecting the first switch with the manageable, second one with the manageable, third one, and the fourth one. And we know that this manageable switch is creating all of them into the single network. So I can say that now this LAN 1, LAN 2, LAN 3 and LAN 4 are all combinedly creating one LAN. It can be MAN also depending upon the area. If the area is less than 10 kilometer, it is a MAN. Okay, let us suppose I am saying they are covering more than 10 kilometers, so that is a MAN. Now they all can communicate with each other. Okay, so smaller LANs, if they are into the less than 10 kilometer, they will create a LAN. So this can be a LAN or MAN, depend. But this is not our concern. The concern is that let us suppose there is some company coming in your college and students are sitting into lab 1 and lab 2. Now they want the maximum speed of the internet so that they can work with the online software of the company. So what will happen? We know that we are using the manageable switch which can control everything. So every port of manageable switch we can work with. So now what we are saying, we know that at this time the library is not as important. So administrator is doing that. Do not give any speed to library. That means library net is now no more working. There will be no internet connection in the library. In the faculty room, let us suppose they want the minimum speed. So we are saying that 10 Mbps speed only provide to the faculty room. So this 10 Mbps speed will be given to the LAN 4. So there 10 Mbps speed will come. Now the remaining speed, let us suppose that we are having the remaining speed 2 Gbps. So they are saying 1 Gbps go into the lab 1 and 1 Gbps to the lab 2 because students are sitting there and their online test is going on where they want the highest speed. So at the first switch, that means the first lab 1, LAN 1, we are having the 1 Gbps of the speed here and 1 Gbps of the speed here. This is only possible because we are using the manageable switch. Manageable switch can properly shut down any person or it can properly provide the highest speed also. So any device connected into the non-manageable switch can be properly shut down and can be given the complete speed. That depend. One day I was there in the server room and I wanted the maximum speed on my PC. So what I have done, I just stopped all the network, means all the LANs, by putting a single click. So all the 4 labs was stopped with the network. All the 3 faculty rooms was not working. Admin was not working because at the time there was some report sent to the university. So that thing can happen only with the help of the manageable switch.